Okay, here we are. Fife Property update. Just a wee bit later than usual. This is from the 21st of January to yesterday, the 27th of January. We're looking right across the whole of the Fife market, all the estate agents, what they've listed, how many properties they've actually sold as well, and comparing them. This gives a great idea of if we're in a buyer's market, a seller's market, or we could be in a balanced market. And I will talk about that in a wee bit further on. I'll also be telling you as well what properties are actually coming to market and where they're coming to market, and what properties have actually sold, and then also what properties have actually sold subject to concluding missives. And that gives a great idea about how much you're getting more than the home report or under the home report, or how quick properties are actually selling in different price points. So if you're actually selling or if you're buying, for sellers, you'll know exactly how long to expect. So for planning for the future, to make sure that, because there's a lot of people out there still thinking that I'm going to put my house in the market, it's going to be getting an offer in a week, and then it's going to be sold in the next couple of months. That is not no longer the case. There's a lot of buyers out there as well that possibly think I've got to pay an astronomical price to buy a house. That is no longer the case, and the reason for that is basically because home reports have now caught up with the actual price point about where we are right now, because all that information is flooded through, and therefore home reports are actually more accurate as to the current market price today. But more about that. Let's crack on straight away and talk about what has actually sold in each area right across Fife. Again, as I said, this will give you a great idea for supply and demand. Here we are right here. Another week goes by where there's more properties sold than there is actually listed. This tells us straight away we are still potentially in a seller's market. There's still more people chasing fewer properties. There's only about 926 properties across Fife up for sale at this point in time. This is way below what it was a couple of months ago, and it is actually now beginning to decrease. Hence the reason why we are still in a seller's market. Now, we're in a seller's market up to a certain price point, and it's up to around about 250 to 300,000. When you go from 300,000 upwards, you're now beginning to decline in the number of buyers, because affordability levels are still not there to a certain degree as they are in the 100 and 150,000 mark, because it takes more money now to get a bigger mortgage than it did a year ago. However, I'll talk about that in a minute. This is actually good data. I actually did a show. No, but let's talk about this now on the UK property market and a robust start with implications for Fife to 2024. I was completely amazed when we looked at the numbers, and it actually showed an impressive 42.37% more UK homes sales in the first couple of weeks of January than they were for which is what the four key drivers are for the surge of the British property market, than they were in the January in 2023. So in other words, 42% more properties actually sold than it did in 2023 for the first start of the year as it is to January right now. That's actually quite surprising. We also talked about, the growth of the home sales and how it's been replicated in Fife as well. And if you're a Fife homeowner or landlord and considering property options in the next 12 to 18 months, then, read the article on this post. Click on this link on the post if you want. It will take you through to a list of the articles that we did during the week. It then goes into a wee bit more detail. If you want to listen to the podcast, if you want to watch that show, or if you just want to read the article, which takes 3 minutes or 4 minutes, then you can do that at your leisure. It's better to be informed than rely on the opinion of others that are not estate agents, and they don't understand the current market conditions as they stand right now. They don't understand the economic implications as well of buying and selling a house, and the future of actually how much it costs in total for that entry and exit strategy, depending, if you're going to be there long term, you're going to be there short term for your next property. It's really important to get the facts from an estate agent that understands all these dynamics, so you can make a decision based on facts, again, rather than people's opinions. It don't actually know what the market is, and they're not actually an estate agent or in that sort of in the property industry. Okay, let's jump back to this again. You could see right across the whole of Fife, Cooper, 5 properties came on from all the estate agents, 6 sold. East Neuk 3 versus 3, St Andrews 9 versus 4. That's no surprise. St Andrews has had a mini boom for quite a while. Leavenworth 12 versus 12. Dunfermline 41 came on, 55 sold. Dunfermline is actually doing quite well. Glenrothes 16 came on, 16 sold. Kirkcaldy 27 came on, 24 sold, and 113 came on with all the estate agents and 120 sold. Now it's expected if 113 comes on, the 81% of them will actually sell. So that true figure in comparison in a normal market would be 91 as opposed to the 120 on right now. So really, it's actually about another third more than it's actually expected. So it does tell us we're still in a really good market. It is a really great start to the year overall for everybody in terms of the property market itself. Let me talk about the start of the year though. If you're looking to reset the clock in 2024, Richard and I did this yesterday about how to relaunch your home for a new year selling success. If it's not going quite according to plan, you're not really sure, you've no spoken to your estate agent quite a while, you've no had an open conversation, then probably that's the article to read again on this post. It's maybe the podcast you want to listen to as well, and it's possibly the video you want to watch, the show you want to watch. And the things that we talked about in this about, the relaunch for your property if you're currently on the market. Is it a good idea to take a break from the market? That's quite an interesting one. What's the real reason you didn't sell before, and what's your competition now? A lot of people don't realise that. They sit with their house in the market for quite a while, but they don't realise everybody else that's coming on after them is actually understanding where their property is, and they know they'll be competing against with them, so they price their property appropriately, so theirs goes first. You need to take stock of that if you've been on the market for quite a while, and you need to think about maybe a realignment, which is a different strategy as opposed to a price reduction. Realignment's completely different from price reduction, and it talks about that in that show. And also the other one as well, can you do anything to improve your presentation, chances of sales? We'll talk about that. Should you stick with the original agent, or is it time for a change? And we also talked finally about how you can make your home look, how you can make your home look like as a brand new listing. So in other words, how to make your current home look like a brand new listing to everybody else. Do you know, taking it off your house, off the market for a couple of weeks and putting it back on makes not a jot of difference in Rightmove and Zoopla and that. It doesn't relaunch it as a new property. Even if you try to put it back on as a new property, as a new listing, and your agent uploads all the photographs again, all the descriptions again under a new property, it still doesn't show it as a new property. They understand that. So it makes no difference if you take your property off for a couple of weeks, trying to give it a break and putting it back on. I talk about that in detail and what you should be doing in that show itself. We actually got good feedback from that. There was people actually commenting on YouTube, not customers of ours actually. They were over in Edinburgh. They said that while they're over in Edinburgh, they actually understood completely what we had done. They watched all our shows, they listened to all information, and they used all that information, how to show their house, how to dress their house, how to present their house, how to negotiate a good deal, and they got their house sold. And they actually said it was partly due to the information and advice we had actually given them, and yet they're not even our clients, and they watch and listen to all our shows as a result of that. It's about applying the right information. This is like baking a cake. If you're baking a cake, you know the ingredients, you know how long it's to go in for. So when your estate agent tells you this is what you've got to do, this is how you've got to do it, this is what you should do, you don't leave the eggs out, because the cake's not going to turn out how it should have turned out in the first place. But often, sometimes, customers, sellers actually think, I don't really need to do that at this stage and told me. Therefore, guess what happens? You don't get the result you're expecting to get. And the estate agent was basically hanging themselves by their tongue, and actually saying, this is what I think will happen. And that doesn't happen because they don't follow through with everything, because sometimes they stop it. We get it sometimes as well, where people suddenly say, I don't want a board outside my property. Well, do you know what? Do you not want anybody to know it's up for sale? And you will laugh at that, and but the reality is, you do have people saying that. I don't want a board. I don't want anybody to know. But you need people to know that your property is for sale, because often the people next door to you and in your street and passing will actually tell other people all about your property. It's up for sale because they'll know somebody that maybe wants to stay in their street because they stay there as well and they've visited them. That's why. So there's all these key differences and key things, and just all these fundamental 1% improvements overall. And if you do that 100 times, you get 100% difference actually compounded to more in the result overall that you could get at the end. That's why it's important to listen to your estate agent and do what they tell you to do. Okay, that's resetting the clock. We've talked about that. Cracking the code. We'll talk about that actually. Property market robust. Cracking the code. Let's talk about what's coming on right now. So let's talk about what's sold first. We'll just quickly jump onto this. This week, we've actually sold, and the reason that we talk about what's sold is because you get a great idea about what is going quickly in what area, and how much they were on it in the first place. So it gives you a good price point and indicators. So this was Westerdrone in Daresy. This was just outside Daresy, as you go to Dooradane. And you had this was sold in 2 weeks. You can see that. And it was a 3-bedroom, semi-detached cottage. It was listed at offers over 270,000, and it was gone. New buyer looking forward to moving into the area. So this was somebody outside the area saw this property and jumped on it. The next one, Craighead Farmhouse. It's away. Sold in 4 months. 2-bedroom upper apartment. Listed at offers over 350,000. New owners are looking forward to moving their new home. Beautiful views across the golf course. This was a realignment strategy that we used for this. This wasn't shifting for the first 2 or 3 months. So we'd used a realignment strategy on this. We gave the advice to the seller. They followed that advice. And within about a week, we had an offer on this property after it had been sitting for about 3 months, with not really that much interest. So it just shows you how that realignment strategy can work overall. And this actually worked for this property as well. The next one, Green Gates, leaving. This sold in 2 weeks, 2-bedroom, semi-detached house. I'm not surprised. This is a beautiful house, great price point. Listed offers are 120,000. Again, new owner looking forward to moving into the area. So it's people outside of areas are actually attracted to these areas because the price points, and also with remote working a lot easier now, it makes it easier for somebody because these areas are more affordable in comparison to where they are potentially, which could be a city. If you've got a 2-bedroom flat or apartment in a converted bank in Merchant City, which they do have done, and they're on at 450,000, and that's what they're selling for, and it's a 2-bedroom apartment. When you look at what you can get at 450,000 in the Fife area, you're going to get a better lot. You're going to get a lot more for your money. Therefore, you can afford potentially to buy a lot less of a price, the same type of accommodation you've got in the city, but you're also easy access to things like the Fife Coastal Path, the beaches and the golf courses and the countryside as well. You don't get that in a city. And that's what attracts people to the Fife area. This is why I tell people a lot of the times, we don't understand because we live with it every day. It's like somebody living next door to Disneyland in Florida. They never really go to Disneyland, but we go, this is great. It'd be great to live next door to Disneyland. But they don't see that. And it's just exactly the same in Fife. We live here all the time. We don't see these things. Everybody else outside of the area sees, which is a fantastic proposition for Fife. And everything they don't have, we have right on our doorstep. And we just take it for granted. So that's why I keep saying to everybody, welcome to God's country. It really is. Have you seen my video actually up Kincraig today at Ely? It was absolutely beautiful. The views are gorgeous right across, 180-degree views right across there. Why would you not want that? It's a fantastic area. Hence the reason why we're on a stage in the area, isn't it? Okay, let's talk about what's coming soon. What's coming to market? Orchard House, Orchard Grove, Leiden, 1-bedroom ground floor apartment will be coming soon. So this is properties we've signed up, ready to go. Alder Terrace and Methil, 2-bedroom end terraced house. Wellshot Road in Kenaway, 3-bedroom semi-detached house. I put that on the other day. That was a huge plot actually. And it's a really good property. I would jump on that one straight away. Get on the social media channels because they all appear here first. If you're not following our pages, you will miss out because some of these properties are actually getting sold from the social media, and they're also done and dusted by the time they get onto our website because offers have been accepted. We had somebody the other day actually said, "You've not been back to me, you've not been back to me. I've been trying to view this property." But the reality was we actually got an offer which was accepted exactly that time that they contacted us when it hit the websites. So it wasn't possible to do that for them. And it's all because they didn't follow our social media channels and they probably didn't see the property as a result. Therefore, they never got that first opportunity to get in there. Buyer got a deal that they couldn't refuse. It was perfect offer. This is why you follow the social media channels. All our properties appear here first. High Street South Crail. Three bedroom upper apartment. That's a brilliant one. That is actually just walking distance to the harbour, easy access, and straight into the. It is High Street South Crail, but it's at the back of High Street, so it's not on the main road. So it's perfect for that. So you've got all the amenities you can get access to, but you've also got straight down the harbour as well to the cafes and that. The Barney Millgate and Cooper, one bedroom Georgian studio apartment. If you've seen that, I just saw that the other day. That is a crack. It's a great price point actually. I think it was offers over 88,000 potentially. So that's a really good one. One bedroom Georgian studio apartment. It has a basement as well, which actually is a studio. For someone. So if you're looking for an artist studio, that's a great price point for that. Wellesley Road, Buckhaven, commercial property. That was Moreland's Butcher Shop. I did a pre-launch on that recently. Trade Street, Kilrenny. That's coming on 4 bedroom, semi-detached house. Hawthorne Street, Methil, 3 bedroom, semi-detached house. Windsor Gardens, St Andrews, 3 bedroom, semi-detached house. Kennaway Road, Windygates, 2 bedroom, mid-terrace cottage. Stobel Cross Road, Markinch, 2 bedroom, semi-detached house. Denvale Gardens, Kennaway, 4 bedroom, detached bungalow will be coming on. Cooper Road in Kennaway, and a 2 bedroom, detached bungalow coming on as well. Lilac Bank Methil, 3 bedroom, semi-detached house. Taping Close in Cellardyke, a 3 bedroom, detached house. This is a huge house. A lot of a big property in Taping Close in Cellardyke. So watch out for that one. I'll be doing a pre-portal this week for that one. So be quick. It's a really good house. Completed over the line. This now we talk about completed. This is all about keys handed over. So keys are handed over. We can tell you prices, what it was on it, what it went for. So it gives you a really good indication about how much over the home report, under the home report, or on the home report in certain areas, certain types of properties are going for. So Graham Crescent in Leven was a 3 bedroom, semi-detached house that sold in 2 weeks for 8% over the home report value. So it represented another £10,000 to the seller. So that's kind of where it's going, about 8% in the Graham Crescent area. 3 bedroom, semi-detached houses. Dover Street in Leven, 2 bedroom, first floor apartment, sold in 2 weeks, 5% over the home report value, representing a £4,000 in the hands of the owner as opposed to the home report. Michael Street in Buckhaven, 2 bedroom ground floor flat, sold in 1 week for 3% over the home report value, representing another couple of £1,000 to that owner. Everybody got a bit extra, helps with the costs of selling. It also helps with the legal fees as well, and the home report and stuff like that. And then, so they got really good value for money overall there. Let's talk and finish off. If you're thinking about, are we in a buyer or a seller's market or a balanced market? The final show that I did this week, I thought it was really important to do it at the time, because I felt that people need to know what type of market we're actually in. So this is all about cracking the code for the Fife property market and revealed. And is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Well, get ready to unlock the mysteries of this in the local property market. When you're actually considering selling, buying in Fife, understand whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market is actually quite crucial. Could you imagine if it's a buyer's market and you run in and actually offer a huge amount over the home report value, not realizing it's a buyer's market and thinking it's a seller's market and you're meant to be paying that price? Well, this show and this podcast on this link above or below here is probably the one that you want to watch or listen to. And the article's there as well. And I go through this in immense detail, very analytical, to tell you why, and over the last 3 or 4 years, how the market has actually changed from an extreme seller's market to where it is right now. Now, you need to listen to that show. You need to watch that show if you're currently looking to sell. If you're currently looking to buy as well, I would suggest you watch that show, because you could end up paying an absolute fortune over what you really need to be paying as a buyer. So tune into that show. As I said, you can listen to the podcast, you can watch the show, or you can just read the article, which will take 3 minutes. So that's Fife Property Market Revealed. Is it a buyer or seller's market? Is it a balanced market? Do you know what a balanced market is? I explain it on that show. Finally, tomorrow, Richard and I are going to be talking about wealth creation, as usual, on a Monday at 12:30. We talk about wealth creation all the time. Is this your year? 2024. Is your New Year resolution still going according to plan? I'm I'm laughing with you, because it's tough. You make these New Year's resolutions at the beginning of the year, or just before the beginning of the year, and you think, yeah, this is going to be my year. You join a gym, or you do something else, or you think, I'm gonna save every month, and it's like, just doesn't start right, and you're maybe off track straight away, and you're only at the end of January, and it's like, for goodness sake, I'm off track. We'll get you back on track. This is all about breakthrough. To break through and to achieve an extraordinary success in 2024, you'll need to have an inspirational plan in place. Now, remember, success is not an overnight phenomenon. It is certainly not a destination, it is a journey. But it's a result of consistent and focused attention. You need to have a vision. Focus on empowering beliefs. Take action to learn and grow as you travel through your journey to success. Remember, it's a journey, it's not a destination, it never will be. Do you really want to know the key elements for an inspirational plan for success for 2024? Well, we're going to talk about this tomorrow. We've got a huge amount of content, and I put the article together. I think it's probably one of the best things I've ever written. As I would do. I wouldn't be telling people about it if it wasn't. But I do think it'll help a lot of people, because it's certainly helped me. And this is all based on what I've achieved so far. I think most people know my story anyway. If you don't, go to our YouTube channel, look on the playlist for the Wealth Creation Show, and in there you'll have Diary of a Property Investor. And I will talk for, I think it's about 6 episodes in there, and from the beginning of my journey to where I am now. And I also give people pointers and information and advice on how they could do it as well. Anybody could create wealth. If I can go from homeless and unemployed in my early 20s to where I am right now, then anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. But you need to understand the key drivers behind it and what you should be doing. Wouldn't it be great to have a financial blueprint? Well, this is what we're going to talk about tomorrow on the Wealth Creation Show. So tune in at 12:30, open to questions at the same time, and I'll see you there, Richard and I. Until next time, guys, I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties TV.